It's Lana. Very excited that tonight Georgia Harmer will be performing at Longboat Hall. Again, earlier this year, her debut album, Stay in Touch, was released. And we're so lucky to have her in studio now. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I have all these nerdy questions for you.
I love nerdy questions.
I've been diving into the record again. But I did want to say you just wrapped up a U.S. tour with Tim Baker. How was that?
That was amazing. Yeah, it was awesome. Tim Baker is lovely, obviously, and everybody he works with is also insanely kind. It was like the most fun and welcoming group of people that they could have been.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. And not surprising, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just salt of the earth folks.
Definitely.
Now, you had this history of, touring with large pop performers. There's lots of opening slots. Of course, you've headlined your own show before, but tonight at Longboat, it's probably the biggest date of your own so far, correct?
It definitely is, yeah. It's definitely the biggest of my own shows, and it's fun because it's a hometown show. I have one of my oldest friends opening, which is Bells Larson, and they and I go way back. We went to high school together. We had like a folk duo in high school, and we have played like all of our first shows were with each other. So it's like a little nod to our beginnings.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful to hear. I didn't know if you had, if you prepare completely different for something like this, or if you are planning on, expanding your set in a different way that may have some surprises.
Well, yeah, there are a handful of new songs because my record is only 45 minutes long or so. Mm-hmm. So a headlining set is longer than that. It happens that it's over an hour. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't have this many songs. So I'm playing a bunch of new songs, having a couple of special guests up.
Nice.
Yeah. So it'll be fun.
Looking forward to it. Now that you talked about new songs, I do want to ask about your writing style as well. First of all, there's a few tracks that are nods to places. There's Austin or Talamanca, which I hope I'm saying correctly.
I hope so too. I've always said Talamanca because that's just the phonetic way that it's stuck in it's very North American of me. But that name came from a voice memo because Voice Memos has that location services where it just names it wherever you are. And that was I was in Costa Rica, and that was the province that we were in Costa Rica. And I just liked that word a lot, and it stuck. I never changed the name.
I was wondering if there are memorable places that are along the line on these new songs. Is there anything is that how things usually begin with you, or as far as, your observational writing style? I'm kind of curious. Are you constantly keeping notes for the purpose of writing songs? Or I think I'm asking like 3 questions at once here.
Totally. I understand. I feel like I usually draw from my memory of a place in retrospect, or sometimes when I'm in that space, I try to like extract the beauty from it and what's affecting me from it, or the way that I'm processing my surroundings. I don't usually make notes at all.
Interesting.
I usually just come up with lyrics and then rarely edit them. And they sort of work sometimes.
I love it. Yeah, I didn't know it because sometimes I was wondering, there's a lot of folks who now have voice notes or kind of are consistently documenting. Oh, yeah. Or you have the idea of just, I'm going to go right now. And then this is my writing time where I focus and kind of soldier through.
Sometimes I'll come up with an idea in a place. Like we were in Vancouver on the Tim tour, staying at a friend's apartment, and I picked up my guitar and it was in a different tuning than it normally is. And I started playing a song that's normally in a different tuning, and it sounded really good in this new tuning, and it kind of like sparked an idea. And then that song will forever be, even if I haven't finished it, it's just this one chord idea. It will probably be about that space and about that time because it started there.
We'll get to a couple tracks. Can we get some more context about All in My Mind? Because this was kind of the first introduction to Georgia Harmer for a lot of us.
Yeah. All in My Mind is like my most rock and roll song. And I think I made it that way because it's about being kind of heartbroken and feeling kind of crazy and like you're making everything up, even though you're not. Or like just having a hard time being in touch with reality. And so I made it kind of a bop to be able to like shake that feeling off in a way.
I'm joined by Georgia Harmer, who tonight is playing Longboat Hall, day of the show. What do you do as far as, do you still get nervous, or are you always like cool and chill?
I get nervous about like being prepared. Like, what am I going to wear? And do I have everything I need? Because I feel a bit scatterbrained. I'm a bit of a disorganized person sometimes. But I have like I have a couple friends staying with me right now who are like helping me pick out my outfit. my band's loading in for me, and so I have my people.
Love that.
It's all under control.
Okay, good. Well, we really appreciate you taking the time.
Really appreciate you having me.
Oh, it's such a fun, exciting time in for you to play this big hometown show. And I did want to continue to talk a little bit about the record while we have you here.
Please, yeah.
Because I was thinking as I was listening to it and then reading, reviews and write-ups, there's a lot of references to how in this very ironic world we live in right now, you still happen to capture the romanticism of everything. Are you a kind of person who is in the moment? That do you block out it's been kind of a weird couple of years to release a record.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think I romanticize things in retrospect, and like a situation that was potentially tough or took a toll on me emotionally, I can always seem to like extract the lesson or like what it was valuable about it in song. And that's probably why I write songs, is kind of like therapizing myself in that way. So yeah, I do feel like that is kind of why. It's like a way to process things and not have them be so heavy and overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. Is that in some way tied into the title of the album, Stay in Touch?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the overarching kind of idea is like staying in touch with what is actually valuable and meaningful and what was actually happening in that moment or under the surface of the moment, rather than like all the little kind of buzzy thoughts that we can get around our busy human brains.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, tonight you've already mentioned that you'll be performing some new tracks.
Yeah.
Can we get a little scoop as to what was inspiring you to write moving forward for your next album?
Yeah. So I think that Stay in Touch was capturing a lot of my past as I was kind of becoming an adult and leaving a lot behind. And I felt the need to preserve it. Mm-hmm. And then these new songs are a little bit more about confronting the present and confronting who I am and what I might need to work on, as opposed to like these beautiful moments that I've shared with my friends and these days that have shaped me that I want to keep and hold on to. This is a little bit more like, okay, what's going on right now? Interesting.
Does that kind of tie into the fact that you have a few versions you're starting to get out of older tracks?
Yeah.
Because I know that you just released an alternate version of Homes and Head Rush as well. Why was it important to get those out now?
I had been playing them on piano and kind of revisiting them. And I think that, I've been playing them, I've been lucky to be able to play them live a lot. And they are songs that I wrote over the course of many years. And so kind of staying in touch, no pun intended, with their original meaning, but also being able to assign new meanings over time and have them remain relevant to me.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask, of course, I like to ask this the day of show before someone's about to hit the stage in a few hours. What song is the most fun to perform live? You've been touring a lot. What song really is the one that you look forward to on the set?
With a full band, mm-hmm. Top Down.
Okay.
We just rock out. We just like to rock out. It's just like so loud. Everyone just like turns everything up.
Noted.
It's fun.
Excellent. Well, we'll be looking forward to that song and all of them tonight at Longboat Hall. Georgia, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we're about to get to Head Rush. While we have you, can you give us a little context about this one?
Yeah, Head Rush. I was at my friend's cottage one summer with a big group of our friends, and it was sort of like everyone had been living in different places and been a bit dispersed throughout the year, and it was like our reunion. And I just remember being very present and really wanting to capture that moment in the song.